All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be looking at the Pixel 6 after a couple of weeks of continuous use. Now the skin on here is from SophieGuard.com. This color is actually sort of seafoam, that light green color. Yeah, you can completely transform your phone if you want to give it a different look or to get grip. Now SophieGuard did supply this skin to me, and they also supplied the skin for the Pixel 6 Pro. You can really transform the look of your device by putting a skin on it, and skins don't provide drop protection or anything like that, but they can help with some nicks and minor scratches on your device. But grip is probably the most important thing if you're going to be putting a skin on there. Aside, at least for me, aside for having a skin on the device, the grip is what's important to me. And so they sent over this skin right here that has texture, and it feels really good. So shout out to SophieGuard for hooking that up. Now, 2 weeks in with this device has been great, man. I got this device because of the size. The Pixel 6 Pro, and plus I wanted to experience both to see what I would like better. Now, while the Pixel 6 Pro has that additional camera, as you can see there, these are pretty much the same devices, folks. The power is there, the performance is there, but when you look at hardware, I think Google has done a fantastic job when it comes to producing what I would consider probably one of the best phones that they've brought out in a long time. The Pixel 4 and 4 XL were really great devices, but they still had that other design that they were rolling with, and with the single camera off to the side, the little circle, and then just the real soft touch matte feel on the device. This time it's a lot different. So if I were to remove this skin, it's a glass slippery back as usual. That's what most of these phones are. And the bar is pretty much the same. It's just a black bar up here at the top. But the hardware itself, I think this is where Google really did well. The design of this phone is absolutely fantastic. I mean, this is just something refreshing for the smartphone market. All phones are pretty much designed the same, and this one's really no different on the front. But the back of the device is where they decided to take a major jump and go to what I would consider their Nexus 6P design, if you will. Some key notes from that by putting that bar design on here for the camera and housing the components in there to make it actually perform well. So on the side of this device, unlike the Pro version, it has matte sides, or the flat, non-shiny sides, which is what I absolutely love. I think this is just a huge improvement over previous versions of the Pixels with if they had like a shiny side on or anything like that, just because it's a complete package. But I genuinely like that better than on the Pro model. The Pro model has these shiny sides if you have these darker versions. But you know, it's not bad. It's just that the flat sides to me are always good. I really wish they would make a all matte back on here, and I think they will be winning. But the design of this device is really good. No headphone jack or anything, but I think it's still, you know, it's cool. I would like to see headphone jacks on devices, but you know, it's just one of those things that they didn't put it on there, and that's what it is. So we have to live with it. So again, hardware wise on the front, these don't look. This Pixel 6 doesn't look any different than some of the other devices that are on the market. You know, if you hold a lot of phones to the front like this, you can't tell what's what. Either the camera's in the center or it's off to the side. So that's just something that you'll have to deal with if you consider picking up any smartphone today, just about, unless you're going with some kind of foldable device or, you know, just something that's going to be really radical and different. But hardware wise and design, I think they did a great job. Now, another area where I think it's greatly improved, obviously, is the cameras. The cameras on here have impressed. I've been doing some testing with the 6 Pro and the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I'll put that video out later, but you know, the cameras on here are greatly improved, and they are the best set of cameras that the Pixel has ever launched. Again, I have to reference the Pixel 4 and 4 XL because those cameras were fantastic. They were phenomenal, and I'm just impressed with what I'm getting from this device. Speaking of cameras, there's no heating issues. You can shoot 4K as long as you want to. At least in my experience, and I'm not saying that your device won't overheat, or any phone can overheat and shut off, by the way, folks. Any phone can have a problem if the device is having an issue where it's getting too hot. That's not really, I mean, Sony devices do that. They just have theirs toned down. This is just what they do with theirs. So any device, if you have this pulling a lot for the camera, it can definitely heat up the device or whatever, and it could be bad for you. So to offset that, what they do is they lock it down. They lock it down and they have it to where it's going to shut off for you, which is, and when you think about it, that's a positive thing. But some people kind of look at that as a bad thing, especially if it's happening too soon. But for these cameras, I haven't had any problems with heating. And, you know, I live in probably a warm part of the world. You know, hey, the cameras are good. And in my experience of using the cameras and testing them, do I miss the telephoto lens? Yeah, I kind of do, if I'm being honest. Being able to zoom in 4 times on here is actually really good. And I can see that the digital zoom is definitely not like, having digital zoom is cool and everything, but sometimes you can't get that real clear, sharp photo that you actually want when comparing to digital zoom cameras, if you have like a telephoto lens on a camera, or smartphone or whatever. So other than that, man, you know, I don't want to harp on the cameras too long. My experience with it has been great, and I just don't have any problems with it. Performance and software and everything has been, it's just been great, man. I expect it to do well, and I just don't expect this to fail as a phone, because now we know that the chip is actually solid, so there's really no issues with it, man. And I've been testing it on different networks now, and so I installed the Speed Test app, and we're gonna go ahead and test this out real quick and do a speed test. Now, I do have my AT&T SIM card in here now. As you can see, Pixel 6 AT&T. But over T-Mobile, I'm getting between 3 to 5 in my house, and this is what I get for AT&T. And AT&T does give me over 100 most of the time, but now that I'm on video, it's kind of trolling me. But nonetheless, AT&T service is solid, especially in areas where T-Mobile's is not. For some reason, and right now as I'm doing a speed test, I'm just not getting the best speeds. But it could be that it's a lot of people on the network. It's really congested. I don't know. But I've never had a problem with streaming over any of the networks. I've tested it on Verizon's network, AT&T, and T-Mobile, and that's it. But T-Mobile being the fastest of them all for download speeds and most consistent upload speeds, it's just been pretty phenomenal how it works on T-Mobile. But I'm having to put my T-Mobile SIM card into a different phone because I'm testing more than one phone at the moment. And yeah, these are good. These are definitely really good speeds for a smartphone. Some people are paying for this for home internet. they are. There's people still paying for these types of speeds because this is what's only offered in their area. But you know, network wise, it's fine. And as I lean over into battery, the battery performance on here, it's just been good. It's not great, that's for sure. And I'm definitely learning that the extra little oomph in the battery in the Pro version definitely helps. But with that being said, I can easily make it through a day. It's just that I'm finding myself having to charge when I start the other day. And I've been asked, have you tried extreme power saving mode? Yes, I have. It didn't really do anything overnight, even though overnight I have it. I have do not disturb on, obviously, and then I've tested it where I use the extreme battery saver thing. It still drained at least 5% to 10% overnight, or 5%. I won't say 10. About 5% overnight, just sitting, it still drained. And I was kind of surprised with the extreme battery saver turned on, it still did that. So nonetheless, the battery life is solid, and you can make it through a full day. And for those that like to talk about screen on time, I can easily pull down 6 hours of screen on time. So it's good battery, but considering the price of this device, yeah, this is that's a big one. That's a big one. The price of the device is what I want to talk about kind of last here. This device is $599, and this one is $300 more in price. So this is going to come down to, why am I buying this phone over this phone? And the differences, I've marked down the differences. I've gone over them in other videos. But you know, the differences here are pretty simple. 12 gigs of RAM, 8 gigs of RAM, 90 hertz, 120 hertz, telephoto lens, no telephoto lens, quad HD display, 1080p display, stainless steel frame, the front camera is 11.1 megapixel or something on the front of this one. you know, some people say that the haptics are better on this device right here. I don't think so. As far as the speakers go, I've tested them both, and they both sound fairly well. You know what I mean? And you get a bigger screen over here and a larger battery. And then, you know, another offset is that this device has a curved display. Now, in this situation, some people say they like a flat display, but if the Pixel 6 had a curved display, I wouldn't be mad at it. I actually like the curved display on the Pixel 6 Pro. I actually really like it. Now, if I could point out some things that I had a problem with the device, it would probably just be finding a screen protector, because if you've seen my video already on what screen protector not to buy. Super Shields is a screen protector that I really enjoy, and I buy those all the time, but for this particular device, it just doesn't work. And some people say, oh, you need to go into this setting, you need to turn on this and this. I've done that already. This is a IQ Shields where it's a wet install. I've had this on here since I got it pretty much, and it's been fantastic. It's another matte screen protector. I don't think it really has anything to do with it being a wet install. I just think I think Super Shields, when they made the screen protectors for the Pixel 6, you know, they used a different quality of screen protector or something. I don't know. But it definitely did not work with that screen protector on there. And that's probably been the only problem that I physically had with this thing, man. Now, as far as the bugs go with the Studio app, those are gone. After I made the video about the bugs for this device and how I still like it, it seems like right after that, and then also with the gaming, you know, all the games appeared after I shot all those videos. Everything appeared in the store, and so developers got on it pretty fast. And so again, this is why you can't rush a review on a device. So now some of the kinks that I had in the interim are gone after me recording several videos, and the device is kind of flowing along, folks. This is just, you know, the hype is over. It just comes down to, do you want to buy this device if you're looking at a Pixel or Android phone, or do you want to buy the bigger brother with a few added features that could benefit you or might not benefit you, and you'll have to determine whether it's worth paying the extra $300. Now, for me, some reasons why I definitely like the Pixel 6 Pro over the Pixel 6 is, you know, the Quad HD display, the bigger battery. The 120 hertz is not something you have to have, but, you know, it is something that it has. And then you've got 12 gigs of RAM, and that definitely helps with performance. But, you know, the curved display I actually like the curved display. And if this smaller one would have had the curved display, I wouldn't have been mad at that. But I really wanted a Quad HD display. Now, I bought this obviously knowing that you can't have these things, but this is like for future iterations of this device. I'm really hoping that Google decides to go ahead and put in a 120, make the products the same. Make them the same, just make them a different size. I really hope that companies start to implement this. I don't understand why they do this when they can clearly do it. It's not going to be that much difference in cost for them, but they choose to do it anyway. They tend to take away from what they consider the lesser of the two and just water down everything. So this is still a phenomenal device, though. And for $599, man, this is still the phone to beat. Even at $899, when you start to pick about pro models of things, this pro model is the phone to beat. It is just a good value to the consumer if you want a bigger display and Quad HD and a bigger battery. If you want these things and you want the telephoto lens, if you just want those little extra things, it's definitely worth it to a lot of people. Some people said, no, I'm going pro all the way, you know? And so that's what they did. So this is even an even better buy for me, because I got mine for $480. I traded in the LG Velvet, and they gave me $120 seamlessly. That was my first time doing a trade-in with Google, and I gave them the LG Velvet. I just couldn't sell that device, so I traded it into them. It was pretty much like brand new, and LG has left the building, so I was like, you know, I got all this sitting on the table. You might as well give it to someone, and I gave it to Google. So they gave me $120 for that device. And I could have sold it for like $250 or something like that, but it really wasn't about the money, I guess. I just wanted to get it out of here because I started to not use it. It's a fantastic phone, but I would rather have this device. And I got the Pixel Buds and this phone for $480 with that trade-in. Even at $599, if you don't have a trade-in, folks, this is still one of the best deals on the market right now. You're getting a lot of phone for $599. And even with any of the little quirks and stuff that you think might be in there that might try to, you know, you might be turned off by. Some people are still reporting the fingerprint reader is bad, it's slow. I think we all can acknowledge that, folks. That even I acknowledged it. I said, hey, this isn't the fastest fingerprint reader, but for me, it just works. It works. If you want your fingerprint reader to appear like this, since you don't have to light up your screen, just turn on always on display. That's what I did. If there's any other way to do it, you can let me know in the comments. But that obviously is the animations as well. I did not go into developer mode and turn anything off. I just use these phones as is because a lot of consumers will not go into developer mode. They won't go in and force 90 hertz. They won't do these things. And I think a lot of people don't think about that when they're trying to give advice about phones. I just don't think they do. They're solely thinking that everybody in the world knows how to do these things, and it's just not true. It's just not true. So, it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. The Pixel 6 is here, man, and it is really good, and I enjoy it. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.